Hey everyone, what is going on, and welcome back to today's video. In today's videos, it is of course another Sunday, so here we are jumping into another operator guide. Last week's operator was Mozzie, and in the card voting we trialed in the last video, there was 331 votes, 60% was for Smoke, 21% was for Capital, and 19% was for Capcan. So obviously Smoke was the clear winner, and I have no idea how to check the exact number of votes yet with cards, so percentage we'll have to do for now. So with Smoke being this week's winner, we now have to determine next week's operator, so I'm going to be running a vote, but if the new season does happen to come out, then I'm going to be making guides on the new operators, so there's no guarantee this vote will actually go ahead but next week's operators are going to be Wamai, Maestro, and Sledge, and in the top right corner, around about now, there's going to be a card with a poll on it, so go vote in the top right corner for either Wamai, Maestro, or Sledge, and without further ado, let's jump into the Smoke guide. So as always, we're going to be starting off with the weapon review and then moving on to the gadget utilization and finishing off with operator strategy. So let's get into the weapon review. So starting off with the guide with the Smoke's loadout, he has access to two quite good primary weapons. Firstly, having access to the FMG-9 submachine gun, which deals 34 damage on 800 rounds per minute. Now both of Smoke's weapons have their benefits. You'll find that majority of instances in higher ranks, all Smoke mains use the shotgun for use of rotations and easy damage, and play the SMG-11 for range. But in the lower ranks, the FMG is a dominant weapon due to the difficulties controlling the SMG-11's recoil, and basically being useless without the pick. So Smoke is a very divided operator in the weapon side, but the FMG in my opinion is a very powerful weapon, not the best, but it's still there, and it having access to that Australian holographic recently added to it makes it a lot better, having the better zoom and control. But basically what I'm trying to say is, if you do not feel comfortable with the SMG-11, you should be using the FMG in your recoil patterns. But basically what I'm trying to say is, if you do not feel comfortable with the SMG-11, you should use the FMJ in your loadout, so you can have controlled range weapon because you need it in games like Siege. Now diving into his second primary, the M590A1, this is hands down the best shotgun in the game in my opinion. It is powerful, it has a lot of utilization, and it can bring, especially on the defensive side. Using the shotgun is again only recommended if you have control of the SMG-11, but it is still very good to use either way. Now diving into the secondaries, we have the SMG-11. This gun is amazing. It comes through with 35 damage on a crazy 1,270 rounds per minute fire rate. As I'm sure most of you are aware, that's insanely high, and it makes for a very difficult recoil pattern to control, and along with this, it only has 16 bullets in the magazine. But if you can master this weapon, it is incredibly deadly, and is the main reason it gets used so much in high rank play. And Smoke does have access to another secondary, but even if you can't control the SMG-11, if you don't use it as your secondary, you're on a whole another level of poof. Use the SMG-11. And finally, with his equipment, he has access to the deployable and barbed wire. Either of these can be useful in Smoke's playstyle. The deployable can be used to quick peek with the SMG or the shotgun, and the barbed wire can be used to give you intel on the pushing team, so either way, in my opinion, they are useful in their own way. Just bring what you think works best with the situation you're playing. If you need to use that in an anchoring situation, bring the deployable. If you're trying to hold down somewhere that giving away intel with barbed wire may be useful, bring the barbed wire. It's just situation based, and I'm sure you guys will get the hang of it eventually. Now diving into the gadget utilization on Smoke, we are diving into the Compound Z8, otherwise known as the remote gas canister. As we still have no idea what's in the canister, I cannot detail that part, but basically Smoke has access to 3 throwable gas canisters that he can throw and pop anyway, essentially, and completely disables vision and deals damage to anyone in the vicinity on 15 damage a tick. Utilizing this gadget is one of the best things you can do as a defender on basically any map, due to the power it brings to resist a push from people rushing into areas. The main thing it protects doing this is in objective. If Smoke still has access to all 3 canisters in the final 30 seconds of the round, he's going to be a real problem for the attacking team just trying to push, and even if they do make it into sight to plant, due to the fact he is just going to smoke the shit out of them and disable basically any still gameplay such as planting, because they will just choke out and die. This is the best way to utilize Smoke's gadget in anchoring and playing late round cuck. But it can also be useful in other situations such as countering a Montang or a blitz, playing a corner when they are pushing you. And other use. Essentially utilizing this canister to stop people pushing wherever it may be. The best strategy for you to bring with Smoke, I strongly recommend anchoring while you do it. And also, before I forget, this canister can actually be really fun to killing your teammates. There's not really much complexity to Smoke's gadget. The main thing that can be taught to it is to use it in the right situations. So without further ado, let's finish up the vid with the operator strategies. So diving into the operator strategy, Smoke brings to the team one of the best anchoring gadgets in the game, and this is why I would strongly recommend you play Smoke as an anchor. Now obviously, if you guys are hearing me say this and you're watching the clips in the background, I'm roaming, And yes, I do these in casual. I just like to outline this because people have said this before. I do them in casual because I upload daily and I don't really have the time to get in good clips in a ranked game because I have to push out this video every Sunday and other videos every other day daily. So I just don't have the time to get the clips. So this is why I don't really put rank clips in the background, and this is why I do psycho shit in the background the majority of the time in my clips as well. Because obviously in casual, if you are able to anchor in casual and not get bored, you're on a whole nother level of sweaty. So that's just me personally, and that's why these clips are me roaming and being a dumbass. But back into the video. Smoke's gadget is the main reason behind this, and because he has access to such a strong anti-push gadget and weapon set, choosing to sit off site with it is just straight up dumb. Utilize everything Smoke brings to the defensive side and sit your ass on site when playing him. A good strategy to have when using Smoke is to pair this up with a shotgun and sit behind a deployable shield close behind it and to a common entry point behind the shield, and if you catch an attacker lacking, pop up and deal heavy damage to them or get the frag. You can also use this strategy for ranged play if you want to pop up behind the shield with the SMG-11, using the same strategy obviously, utilizing that anchoring loadout. But before everything else, if you are alive, make sure you're on the site in the last minute. Majority of critical attacking points will happen in the round is normally going to happen in those last few minutes. Obviously, this is when a game goes normally. There are obviously outliers, such as when someone rushes you or your whole team dies early and then you're just stuck in a 1v5 situations. But majority of rounds, that last minute is the critical attacking point for attackers. Make sure you're on site waiting, using your sound to determine where the enemy is coming from, and smoke off those entry points for as long as you can to keep those attackers out in late game situations. This is hands down the best way to use smoke, and this is what I'd pass down for you guys to do. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new today that you didn't know previously, whether you're a copper or a champ. And if you did make it this far into the video, consider checking out my Twitch. I stream over there every day except for Saturday at 7:15 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time every day until some random hour of the night. The link is in the description down below if you guys are interested. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and remember,
I know what you're wondering. What's in the canister? I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. I'm only mucking about. Relax. As for what's in the canister, it's best you don't ask.
peace people.
Control.